you need motivation and inspiration to get you off the couch and boss up? We've got you covered. Welcome to the Build or Destroy podcast. Self-improvement, education, business, relationships, financial literacy, investing, and doing for self. Let's do this. Here's your host, Anthony Barber Jr., a.k.a. The Builder.
It's the Builder, back with another episode of the Build or Destroy podcast. Here to chop it up again about the financial sector. And in this sub-series, we're going to be talking about the cashless society, or the incoming of the birth of the new cashless society, the global cashless society. Specifically, we're going to focus on CBDCs. Now, what are CBDCs? For those of you that don't know, CBDC is a central bank digital currency, which is basically the virtual form of a country's fiat. It's issued and regulated by the nation's monetary authority or central bank. So basically, it's a new agey version of the trash fiat system that we have right now. You know, they try to paint it like it's sovereign, like, oh, it's a sovereign currency, but it's really like a way for nations to effectively deal with going belly up and then ushering in a new digital system, which is basically going to replace the old system, but it's going to work exactly like the old system. Only thing is, it'll have more oversight, more consumer constraints, more traceability. Basically, they'll be able to be in your business 24/7 without your say so. You know what I'm saying? Because they'll know exactly where your money's coming from, like all of that. Like, we already have as many of you know, PayPal, you know, Venmo, and all these digital payment platforms, you know, have basically bent the knee to offering up everybody's, you know, tax information, so that any transaction over $600 is flagged, and you're going to be traced and tracked and, you know, and audited. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of people don't understand the correlation behind like all of these new restrictions that are being painted to be like they're such a good thing for the people, right? You know, some people will say, yeah, tax the rich. And it's like, bro, the rich don't have jobs. The rich own businesses and they own assets, like Robert Kiyosaki famously pointed out for years and years and years. Like, there's no such thing as taxing the rich. You know, that's like almost like an inside joke. You know, when they say, yeah, tax the rich, like, they know most people are emotional and they're emotionally driven, and the 99%, you know, the people playing catch up, the poor people, the uneducated, the uninformed, you know, their main, you know, they need an enemy to fight, right? You know, because, you know, people that's in depression or angry all the time, you know, they need an enemy, you know, so the government gives them one. The government says, or the media says, hate the rich. You know, if you're poor, you know, hate the rich. You know, this is your enemy. This is your natural enemy. You know, you don't have anything, they have it all, so they must be evil, right? You know, even though a lot of rich people, you know, came from nothing, you know, especially in the United States, where we're one of the few countries, if not the only country left, where you can literally go from being poor to prince, you know, within a 12-month span. You know, you can literally go from, you know, nothing to something. You know, this is not a lot of nations can make that type of boast, but I digress. Point is, you give the people an enemy and you say, yeah, tax the rich, tax the rich. But the whole time you're going to actually do a rug pull on everybody and tax the hell out of them. So the people, the middle class that was propping the country up and keeping everything going, you're going to basically destroy them even more and put them in the same category where now they're infighting with the people that really didn't want anything necessarily in the first place, except unless it was free, unless it was a handout, type of situation. So now you have a divided country, even more divided, where you have people, mad because this rich person is, supposedly freeloading, even though, a lot of these CEOs, a lot of these innovators, a lot of these Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos type of people, why you might not like them for whatever reason. Fact is, like, they built businesses out of nothing. They built it out of nothing. It was nothing. Zuckerberg, like, it was nothing. They started with nothing. Besides their networking or the connections or borrowing money from friends and family and sleeping in their office. Like, the fact of the matter is, they came from nothing. They built something, and now they're wealthy, right? So those are the enemy, so to speak. So where does the CBDCs play into all of this? Well, the CBDCs is just a digital way for the government to finally have the oversight that they've been wanting this whole entire time, right? Because you have some people that work like minimum wage jobs just to like stay off the government's grid, basically. Like, see Uncle Sam, I got a job, they got a petty job, but really they hustle on the side. They might sell anything from drugs to clothing to plates of food, on Facebook Marketplace. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can go on Facebook Marketplace right now and you can see all types of people selling stuff to make extra money. You can go on Craigslist and sell and flip couches and flip, whatever. You can still use platforms like eBay to sell stuff and make extra amounts of money to get you over, and most people for years have been using this thing called hustling to get over the hump, to supplement their income from their regular job, their quote unquote regular job, right? Well, CBDCs are going to kill all that. Cashless society is going to kill all that hustling, that mattress money, that burying $100K in the backyard type of situation. You're no longer going to be able to do that once everything's digital, because if it's digital 100% and there is no paper money that you can stash in the backyard, that you can stash under your mattress for a rainy day, or that you can squirrel away in the safe, you won't have any of that cushion anymore. It's going to literally be like every $600 you make, it's like getting flagged and getting taxed. Why all of a sudden now? Why all of a sudden these weirdo taxes where it's like $600? A lot of people say, damn man, $600, that's not a lot of money, man. You're going to flag my account every time I make $600? Well, yeah. You know why it has to be that petty? Is because we've literally ran a deficit up so high. We've ran the debt up so high that now you have to be put in a situation where old Uncle Sam is going to come by and tax the hell out of you. A lot of people don't put two and two together. Like, is a reason why, President Biden all of a sudden allocated so much money to hire so many brand new IRS agents. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a reason why he's hiring, an unprecedented amount of brand new IRS agents. And it's because everybody's going to get audited. Not everybody, but a lot of people. Like, a lot of people are going to get audited. And a lot of people might say, well, why? Well, because somebody's got to pay for this. Like, there's no way, you're getting out of this situation unscathed. You know what I'm saying? Like, the country, like, people in the country are going to pay for this. Those free checks aren't free. That stimulus wasn't free. These supply chain issues that we're dealing with, like, all that shit, like, somebody's paying for that. Like, billions and billions of dollars that's just sitting out there in the ocean, not getting offloaded, so consumers can buy it and keep the dollar circulating. The way our economy works is like the money has to stay in rotation, baby. Like the money has to move around. And for like the last 2 years, the money really ain't been moving around like it used to. That's just a fact. It's just not moving around. So the CBDC thing is a flare gun signal to everybody to let you know that, hey, the cashless society is coming. They say CBDCs promote financial inclusion. Yeah, okay. And they simplify the implementation of monetary and fiscal policy. Okay, so they simplify the implementation of monetary and fiscal policy. So it's easier for them to enforce shit because now I don't have to worry about this person over here hiding $100,000, this person over here hiding $50,000, not reporting it. Like, I'm getting all of mine. Like, that light bill that's due on the 1st is due on the fucking 1st. Like, if your lights aren't paid, your lights are getting cut the fuck off. It's not going to be any more past due balance and second notice and third notice. It's going to be like your shit's cut off until you pay us. You better get the money from somewhere and pay that digital payment. Otherwise, your lights are off, your gas is off. I'm tough titty. You just got to deal with it. Like that's how it's about to be around here. It says it's a centralized form of currency. They may erode the privacy of citizens. This is literally what it's for. It's to take away your privacy, your ability to be autonomous, to move around, to keep shit, to yourself, to squirrel away money for a rainy day. It's to kill that. Like, people don't understand the consequences. Like digital currency has always existed. Let's not get it twisted. Let me go back for a minute and break it down, because a lot of people are not going to understand what I'm saying. Like, have you ever used a debit card? Most likely, yes. Have you ever used a credit card? Most likely, yes. Have you ever did a wire transfer or a bank transfer to a broker account or a crypto? Or have you ever tied your bank account to a crypto exchange to buy crypto? Right? Like, what do you think that is? Like, when you send $500 to Coinbase and then you turn that into $500 worth of Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever, like, that's all digital. There was no physical currency or fiat being exchanged between you and the party that you bought that crypto from, or that you bought that stock from, or that you bought that item on Amazon from, or that item on eBay or Wish, or all these other platforms where you buy stuff online. Like, when you buy stuff online, you're using digital transactions. It's not called Bitcoin. It's not called Digibyte or Litecoin or Cardano. It's not called those things, but it's a digital transaction. When you swipe your credit card or debit card at a restaurant or a store, or you buy goods and services, that's digital. Like, you're not handing the person any like a wad of money and they're giving you change back. Like, you're giving them the exact amount of money that they charge when you swipe that card or when you tap that card. Like, it's a digital transaction. So people have been primed and ready for this. It's just more so conditioning. They've been conditioning you for this type of transition for a while. A lot of people just can't really put two and two together, and they're not really looking at it like that. But that's exactly what this has been all coming down to, is a cashless society where you have damn near no privacy. The government knows exactly where all your money's coming from. And, if you don't have a way of hiding your money digitally, like in a hardware wallet, for example, that's just one example, or living in a country where the laws aren't as strict on crypto and things of this nature, like, yeah, you kind of gonna be screwed, especially in the United States, where we're actually behind the power curve. So since the United States wanted to play all these fuck games and these political games, all these decades, instead of like really focusing on catching up with the future and being innovative and really pushing the envelope and getting our education system where it should have been, and preparing, the next generation of children and young adults and even the adults for the transition into this new way of society, because they knew this was coming. Instead of doing the right things, they decided to slow roll it and fatten their own pockets. And then now they're trying to literally make a system to where it's like totally totalitarian, where they're going to literally just tell you what to do. And if you don't already have any money to where you can move around and be a little bit more comfortable than the average Joe, yeah, you're going to suffer a lot. Crime is going to go up, in my opinion, because that's just what it is. A lot of people aren't going to be able to make this so-called smooth transition like a lot of people think. They're just not. A lot of people are going to really buck the system once you tell them that they like, if the government came out tomorrow and said you have to turn in all paper money and coins by June 1st. You have to turn it in to a bank or turn it into a government designated, building, and you have to show proof of where you got it from. But either way, after June 1st, paper money is no longer valid. It's literally considered worthless. You have to turn in all your paper money by this date, or if it's considered worthless. So a lot of people, yeah, they might be sitting on a couple $100,000, especially like people that do illicit activity, right? Let's just call it a spade. So you bring in $150,000 to a bank or to a center, you got to report that. It's going to be no different than you working a job and making $150,000. They're going to look at that like capital gains. They're going to say, okay, cool, you got $150,000 and you want to convert it to our digital, CBDC. You gotta convert that over to the new digital dollar or whatever they're gonna call it. And you're gonna say, okay, no problem. Then they're gonna say, well, where'd you get this from? Because I don't see any like paper trail. Like do you have any check stubs? Do you have any bank statements showing? Are you a freelancer? Do you have a 1040? Do you have any invoices showing how you made such a large quantity of money? See what I'm saying? A lot of people are going to get arrested on the spot or get charged. Or the government, instead of charging them, because, jails are full as it is, right? And instead of locking up, hundreds of thousands of Americans for tax evasion, they can just double tax you. So that $150,000 that you had squirreled away, that you've been saving in a safe or whatever, they'll just take, 70% of it and call it good. They'll say, okay, we'll take 70% of that for taxes since you can't prove where you got it from, and we'll let you keep 30% of it. Have a nice day. See what I'm saying? And you're going to be mad as shit. Or it's going to be like, or go to jail. Either we tax you 70% or you go to jail. Like, that's how it's going to be. This CBDC situation isn't going to be as smooth as people think it is. It's going to really be some gnarly shit going on. You have all types of CBDCs. You have wholesale and retail, CBDCs. Wholesale CBDCs are basically use the existing tier of banking. Like they're basically, what the financial institutions use to make transactions and stuff like that. Retail CBDCs, they more so like building blocks that, build on an existing system for like transfers between banks. They're almost like middlemen. They're like the worker bees, type CBDCs. Retail, they're more so involved in like transfers of central government-backed digital currencies to consumers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like something almost like that you would use on like an Amazon. Amazon might have like their own coin, right? It might be like it might be dubbed like the Amazon coin, but really it's a CBDC. It might be wrapped in an Amazon logo, but really it's totally regulated by the government. You know what I'm saying? I'm just giving you an example of what you could see here in the next, 12 to 24 months. Like, it's getting really crazy, And of course, you have advantages and disadvantages, when it comes to CBDCs. For one, the digital currencies, they minimize the effort and process for the government functions, right? Such as distribution of benefits or calculation and collection of taxes. So, like, I mean, it's going to be easier for them to tax the shit out of you. It's just going to be easy for the government to take or to overtake. You know, that's the only thing. You know, CBDCs don't necessarily solve the problem of like, you know, being centralized, right? A central authority or like a bank, you know, a central bank is going to be responsible for and invested in the authority to conduct everything. So like they have a overreaching, you know, investment in this whole thing. It all boils down to, look at like the digital dollar, like you would a paper dollar, only that it's more regulated and it has more government oversight, and you can't hide it. You can't hide the shit. Like, it's literally, they're using blockchain against people. They're using blockchain for the very thing that it was kind of intended not to be used for, in my opinion. Like some pros and cons, right? So a pro, some people would say a pro, you know, would be that it simplifies the implementation of monetary policy and government functions, right? It eliminates third-party risk. That's kind of the narrative they're going to paint for you. Oh, it eliminates third-party risk. You don't have to worry about nothing. Well, Big Brother will take care of everything. It calibrates privacy features. So, like, basically, more regulation, like the trust factor. You know what I'm saying? And then it allows the inclusion of the unbanked. So, like, basically, people that don't necessarily have a bank account will be able to like use the same digital dollar. This all goes back to the whole narrative scenario. They're painting a narrative where it's like, trust us, this is safe, this is smooth, like it's a smooth transition. You just download this wallet, this USA wallet, digital wallet, and then you download your, you know, this is where you keep your money. You know, it's in one location. You can trust it. It can't be hacked. Yada, 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 you know. And then it says, you know, another pro would be like it prevents illicit activity. They always going to try to paint that where it's like, we got your back, we got your best interest, you know. And all these so-called pros cater to the type of people that don't like to think for themselves, the people that aren't self-aware, the people that don't want to put the time into researching their own thing to know what the hell they're getting into. A lot of people just want to throw their hands up and say, please just make it easy for me. Make it simple for me. I don't want to think I got, you know, 2 kids or 3 kids to worry about. I can't stand my boss at work. I'm just trying not to get fired. Like, I don't have time to study this. Just like, tell me where I'll get my money. Tell me where I put my money. Tell me how to spend my money, and I'll do it. And they'll complain the whole damn time when shit's not going right. And they have 1,000,001 questions that nobody is willing to answer for them, but they'll just do it anyway. You know, a blatant con is that it, like I said, it doesn't solve the problem of centralization. You know, users are going to have to give up privacy when you use these are not privacy coins like Monero or something like that can't be tracked, you know, very easy. Like this, the government is all in your shit. Like, they know exactly what's going on with your money, you know, where it's coming from, who sent it to you, all that, especially if it's a CBDC to CBDC, you know, wallet type situation. The legal and regulatory issues are literally in limbo. Like, there's no regulation for this stuff. Like, they literally can make up rules as they go. You know what I'm saying? In this cashless society, especially when it comes to CBDCs. Like, that's why you have 83 governments, 83 countries around the world that are jumping into this CBDC thing because they see how many people are getting into crypto, and they see how educated the crypto crowd really is compared to like the stock crowd. Because like in stocks, like people are really lazy. You know, that's why like the dumb money, you know, Wall Street calls retail like dumb money, because they are. They don't study. They don't bother learning about their investments. They don't bother learning it. They just want to put money into the slot machine and hit the lottery. You know what I'm saying? Crypto is not really like that. You know, you kind of got to be up on your shit not to lose a lot of money. So a lot of people that have been in the crypto space or dabbling in the crypto space at least are learning every single day, because the crypto space is always evolving. So you have to kind of learn. It's kind of a learning man's or learning person's, type of situation. You have to really be like a student and constantly, upping your game. And another con of the whole thing, lastly, would be like it could substitute a weaker country's currency. So like it's literally just liquid on top of liquid on top of liquid. Like it's bullshit. Like it's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? The idea of a central bank currency owes its origins to the introduction of cryptocurrency. But they try to make it seem like crypto is on bullshit, because it's a lot of people that do get scammed in crypto because it's fairly new. It's not new, but it's new to like people that's getting in it. You know what I'm saying? Like in the recent years, it's new to them, but it's been around since 2009. You know what I'm saying? Like people had plenty of time to come on, you've had plenty of time to really bone up on this. At least 20 years almost, to really like get your feet wet and like really see what's going on. See, like people just always listen to the news and they're always like, well, the dollar, cash is king, cash is king, cash is king. And the only thing that can only be defined as currency really is gold, because it doesn't rot. If I put $100 million of fiat in a bank, the mold will get it eventually. You know what I'm saying? Bugs will eat it. Time will decay it. It'll get dried out, and it'll crumble, and it'll just turn into worthless dust. Gold, I can leave $100 million of gold in a vault and bury it, or put it in the ocean underwater or anything, and I can dig it up later. I can pull it up out the water later, and it's still going to be there. It's still going to be the gold. Like it's not going to decay or anything. I can move it. I can break it into small pieces. I can I can weigh it and measure it. It's a conductor of electricity, so it has utility, like actual real world application and utility. The crap we have now is just an IOU. It's a bogus IOU. And this is exactly what they're about to feed everybody, is these central bank digital currencies. So just be mindful. This is just an intro to this new little sub series I'm doing on the Cashless Society. And stay tuned for more. All right, peace.
Thanks for listening to the Build or Destroy podcast with your host, Anthony Barber Jr., aka The Builder. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into all the tips and tricks you can use to boss your life up. If you're interested in expanding your mind and reaching your definition of freedom, and how these ideas and views can be applied in the real world, tap in with us next week. As always, you can head over to www.builderslsb.com to cop some motivation, dope merch, and sign up to our email list. And don't forget to check out all the links and resources in the show notes. That's all for this episode, folks. And as always, boss up instead of laying down.